I feel very much honored to be a Hope Fund Fellow because this is such a prestigious fellowship. And I feel very blessed to be part of the family. It's a very unique experience, at least to me. I feel that the culture differences is very different among these three major places I lived. And they have very different attitudes towards doing things and also doing science, treating people. And I feel that I have this very unique opportunity to learn those great advantages from different groups of people. I really much enjoyed my time when I was in med school. I made a lot of good friends. They remain to be really my lifetime friends now. I think we have a very more like a collaborative environment that I think it's more the Chinese culture that we try to be friends with most of the people, and we don't really that much distinguish our personality. That's my personal feeling. It might not be true for everyone else. So I guess I kind of have that in my background. I think Europe is it's actually a very open-minded society, I feel, because so I did my Ph.D. study in Switzerland, but my advisor, he's American, and we have like Russian, Israeli, German, French, Chinese, Japanese in our lab. And you have this opportunity to interact with all kinds of different people because it's such a small place and people just come and go. It's very easy to interact with people from very different backgrounds, which is a little bit unusual for me. I really benefit from that experience in the sense that I think I know a little bit better how to interact with different collaborators coming from very different backgrounds. I don't think that I had that that much ability to do so when I just graduated from college. Most of the people I was exposed to were Asian. They have very similar backgrounds as I did, and we mostly went to similar schools, grew up in similar cities, but the experience in Europe and then here in the States really broadened my scope, that I kind of learned how to appreciate people from different backgrounds, especially cultural backgrounds and training backgrounds. I think that is a unique experience for me to learn to collaborate. I think in the States, people really, really work very hard. And I really, it was a kind of culture shock for me that people really do 150% to work on the science and to try to advance their research. So that is very impressive to me. And I think also the opportunity here is really a lot. So for example, I had this privilege to be involved in this Hope Fund fellowship program, and I got to know and to interact with people really from many different top fields of cancer research and also from other areas. And I think that's very inspiring for me to see how people can be very successful and be really nice person as well. Our lab is mostly working on lung cancers. So my project is focusing on a special kind of lung cancer. So people, I don't know if you have heard about small cell lung cancer. So people segregate lung cancer into two major categories. One is called small cell lung cancer. The other major category is non-small cell lung cancer. So this is a very special type of lung cancer because it's highly aggressive. It's very metastatic. So most patients, when they were diagnosed, they were at end stage already. So this is one of the kind of most aggressive subtype of lung cancer that doesn't really have a lot of treatment options so far. So my personal interest is to work on that specific kind of lung cancer and trying to identify potential future targeted therapies that can really help the patients in clinics, because so far they don't really have much treatment options. So there are different subtypes of lung cancer, as I mentioned. So small cell lung cancer is a subtype that is particularly associated with smoking. So more than 90% of the small cell lung cancer patients, they have smoking history. But there are, of course, some other mutations in non-small cell lung cancer. They can be associated with genetic mutations that is not necessarily involving smoking behavior. Coming from a medical background, that initially I always thought that I would be treating patients, but I also like research. I wasn't sure what kind of research I wanted to do because there are so many things that are so interesting. But when I was doing my internship in the hospital, I rotated in an oncology ward. And that experience really transformed me, that it made me set up my mind that I really want to do cancer research, because seeing all these patients suffering without a really robust treatment for them, that kind of motivated me to do cancer research from now on, from then on, actually. Cancer research, you can go very basic, not asking about the clinical applications, but that is not the approach we're taking in the JAX lab in particular. I think all the time we bear in mind, that our ultimate goal is not only to understand cancer, but to treat patients. I think that's also what Dr. Jax has been telling us all the time, that we always want to do translational research, that we want to apply our research to real patients. But on the other hand, bearing that in mind, we can do more basic research that we really dig into the mechanism of tumor progression to develop better treatment for patients. So that is always our ultimate goal in doing our research. For example, my project has involved a technique that is called CRISPR-mediated genetic editing. So that is a breakthrough technique that, because of that breakthrough, it's very easy to do genetic editing. And because of that technique, we based our research on that, and we got some really promising results. And computational is kind of on a daily basis, we do computational analysis using large data sets, a lot of DNA sequencing, RNA sequencing techniques. So we have people who are specialized in doing computational things. They will be helping us to do our research. So I think that's very interesting. So we try to keep up with the literature, and also we can go to different conferences. And I think my special advantage coming from Europe is I also have some collaborators. They are scattered all around the world. So talking to them, learning what they've been doing, I think it's a very inspiring experience. I think for all kinds of science, in the end, there's this philosophy. What do you believe? To interpret your data, to build a model, a hypothesis, how you interpret different behaviors of your research objects. I think that's something that is more philosophical or art-related than real science-related, because you have to have a working model that is you feel happy with, and that is, for me, I think they are very beautiful. I think science is building on observations. So for me, doing science is really that you do experiments, you observe what is the pattern, and then basing on your observations, you interpret your data. So that is really a hypothesis-based studying of doing, especially cancer research. It's not easy, but I think we can live with cancer in the future, such as we're living with hypertension, diabetes. Hopefully in the future, it can be a controllable disease that, people have cancer, but they can still have a really good life quality. They can still live for a long time. They just need to take some pills once in a while. So that's my hope for cancer research. I think the Hope Fund is the name is really good, that we always have hope. And because of that hope, we can fight really hard. And we can do our research because of your support.